Another option that I see as a real estate lawyer that's becoming more and more prevalent and advantageous for sellers is to sell their property subject to the existing loan. Let me explain how Subject to works. Subject to's been around now since at least the 1970s. In the early 1980s, it became really popular when interest rates were going up really high. In the 1980s, Congress started regulating Subject to in the Garn-St. Germain Act. When states were coming up with different rules on how to do Subject to transactions, the lenders went to Congress and asked for a consistent rule across the country. Subject to is nothing more than buying or selling a property where the loan remains in place. It wouldn't need to be paid off like a normal traditional or cash sale. The loan simply stays in place. It's becoming more and more prevalent, and even the new regulations in the Dodd-Frank Act specifically address this type of transaction and the guidelines that we have to follow when buying and selling properties this way. Danny, what are some of the advantages of Subject to?
Yeah, so the advantages are that you're going to get a higher asking price, you're going to have lower closing costs, you're going to have a faster sale, you're not going to have all the real estate commissions to pay, you're going to be able to improve your credit, you can sell your house as is, so none of those pre-listing costs, you have little to no equity, even negative equity is okay, you're not going to have to deal with lengthy mortgage approvals, your house doesn't have to appraise, and it's certainly a better alternative to short sale foreclosure, renting, or bankruptcy.
So I guess the main disadvantages would be that the loan stays in their name, that there are some risks, that it might have a possibility of affecting their ability to get a new loan. There's no question about the legality of Subject to, although some people will make you think that. It's an assumption of your loan. The difference is that you're still liable on the loan, but we take over your loan payments. Also, when it comes to getting a new loan, some sellers have a good enough debt-to-income ratio to buy a new house immediately. Others will simply need to wait for 12 months to allow the payments on this property to be removed from considering your debt-to-income ratio when applying for a new home loan. This doesn't usually affect many sellers negatively because most sellers are not looking to buy another home immediately anyway.
You know, Mark, I think it's also important to discuss how the seller is protected in this transaction. So since you're the attorney, I'm going to leave that in your hands.
You have a deed of trust and a promissory note to secure assumption. You have all the rights of a lender, which means the assumption of your loan is secured by the property itself. We have loan servicing handle the payments, and the closing documents provide additional protection to you. You're legally protected in the entire transaction. Now, my law firm's done about 1,200 of these types of deals because it gives you the most amount of money for your property and limits how much you need to bring to the closing table to sell your property. For most folks in today's lending environment, they find that selling their house is extremely difficult or nearly impossible to do. If people can't get loans, they can't buy. If they can't buy, folks can't sell houses.